this is Sarah from Great Days by Sarah, and today I have for us a beginner's yoga practice. This is great if you're just starting out your yoga journey, or if you want to check back in and go back to the foundations and connecting your breath to movement. As always, do what works for you and your body today. If something doesn't feel right, just stop, wait till our next posture. It won't be too long. Find yourself into a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Today, I'm going to go cross-legged, resting my hands on my knees. If you're comfortable, close your eyes and just start to breathe. No particular way, just whatever feels right in this moment. Start to come into your space mentally. Try to let go of the to-do list, the laundry list, all the things that are waiting in the outside world as we take a few moments to focus on ourselves. Try to let go of the tension in your face, especially in your jaw. Maybe roll your shoulders down and back. And then notice your spine. Are you rounding over? Are you leaning to one side or the other? Sit up as straight and strong as you can. And let's talk about this breath. Traditional yoga breathing, especially in a Vinyasa flow series where you're connecting your breath to your movement, is called Ujjayi. So it's in through your nose and out through your nose. But as you breathe out, you constrict the back of your throat, making an ocean-like sound. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear me like this. If someone was sitting next to me, they could hear it, but someone couldn't hear it maybe across the room. So it's not that loud. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, constrict through the back of your throat. Sounds of the ocean waves. And you'll try to continue that breathing as we move today through class. But if it doesn't feel comfortable, or if you start to build a lot of heat, which this breath tends to do, start exhaling through your mouth. Just focus on long inhales and even longer exhales so you can get all the benefits of this breath. Some of them include regulating your blood pressure. We have the ability to strengthen our respiratory system as we focus on these deep breaths. And studies have shown that it even improves your immune system just by breathing deeply like this. So let's try it. Inhale brings your arms up. Exhale brings you hands to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, hands heart center. One more like this. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale. Rest your hands where they feel comfortable. Let's start nice and easy with some neck circles. One ear, one shoulder. Chin to your chest. One ear, opposite shoulder. Come up straight. Continue that direction. Move slowly. And I will keep reminding you, do what feels good for you. And reverse it. Staying tall through your spine. And checking with your breath. Are you still breathing? Or has it gotten shallow? To the center, pause, reach your left arm up and over the top. Slight bend, side bend, extension through your side body here. If you'd like to go a little bit more, you can use your hand or even your forearm to support you, but you don't want the bony structures of your pelvis in the back where you're sitting on your sits bones to lift up. So don't sacrifice your lower body for a stretch in your upper body. So both hip bones are still on the floor. Bring it back up. See how the other side feels. And then we'll connect it with the breath. Inhale brings you up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. This time maybe peek up underneath that arm. Inhale up. Exhale over, peek up. And then bring it back to center. Let's realign our spine. Make sure it's pulled straight up. If someone had a string on top of your head, maybe they can pull you even 1/8 of an inch taller. We're gonna go into our first spinal twist. Take your left hand, right leg, then reach your right hand behind you, still keeping a tall spine, and slowly twist towards the right. Every inhale makes you a little taller. Every exhale pulls you a little bit deeper into the twist. One more breath like this. Maybe take a peek over your back shoulder. And then unwind it opposite way. Right hand, left leg. Left arm comes behind you. Sit up tall on the inhale. And then twist on the exhale. This is a great detoxifying move. Moving the stress hormones out of your body. Every time you exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Think about almost wringing out all the toxins from those internal organs. One more here. Maybe you peek over your shoulder and then slowly unwind it. Come back to your center. Always, if you need a sip of water, stop and take it. We're gonna move on to hands and knees. So let's line it up. Knees are gonna be underneath your hips, so they're not together. Hands are gonna be underneath your shoulders, and maybe turn your hands out slightly. So fingertips might point a little bit at a diagonal. This is great if your shoulders are tight. It gives you a little bit of space. You can relax your feet. If it's not comfortable to relax your feet, curl your toes under, especially if you deal with plantar fasciitis or cramping in your arches. You might need to keep your toes tucked because putting them this way might not feel good. Do what feels good for you. We're gonna move into cat-cow. So for the cow, your tailbone lifts up, your head lifts up, and you find this arch in your back. Press your shoulders down, away from your ears. Eyes can gaze up. Hold for a moment just to find it. And then we'll reverse it. We're gonna go into cat. Think of a scared Halloween cat. We pull our belly buttons in, tuck your chin, eyes goes back towards your belly button, pressing through all 10 fingers, and we find our cat pose. Now we'll move with the breath. Inhale, cow, nice and slow. Bringing some movement to the spine. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more like this at your own pace. Once you find your last scaredy cat over here, come back to that neutral where we started. You want to make sure you're lined up because the posture is about to change. We're going to move into a series of bird dogs. The first way we're going to start, your right leg goes backwards and keep it on the floor. So lean back and forth a little bit, get a good stretch through your calf. And then I want you to check in with your hips. A lot of times when we move this leg back, we open up our hip. I'm obviously exaggerating that, but it opens to the side. You want to tuck your hips so your hip bones are pointing towards the floor. And then we're going to reach our left hand out and just table tent your fingertips. So you're not totally lifting your hand off the floor yet. And once again, square your shoulders to the floor. Now here's where we're going to go. We're going to lift both. And maybe it's just a tiny bit off the mat, especially if this is your first time doing it. Into our bird dog. You'll probably teeter-totter a little bit. That's okay. Start to engage your core. Abs are tight, so still pulling that belly button in. Don't let it drop towards the floor. And then if you're ready, and only if you're ready, lift them up. So fingertips are reaching straight out in front of you. Palm is facing the side. Strong flex through your foot like you're kicking a wall behind you. And then bring it down if you lifted it. We're going to do 3 lifts. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. We're going to hold for 3, 2, and 1. Set it down on all fours. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Roll through your hips. Whatever feels good. We're going to go into the other side. So left leg goes back. Keep it low. We'll start with a couple of these rocks. Back and forth, stretching out your calf. Find your hips squaring towards the floor and reach your right arm out in front of you. And you can just stay here. Especially if you're new to a practice like this, you'll automatically feel your core has to engage to balance you out. If it's comfortable, lift it a little bit. Just test it, play with it. If not, come back down. We're going to do 3 lifts if you're ready. So we'll go here. Inhale, lift up. Right hand's reaching straight and strong. And down. Inhale up. And down. Inhale up. And down. Place it underneath. Find your tabletop. And then walk your hands up so you're on your knees. Bringing your left foot forward. We're going to go into a low crescent lunge. So however you can get it in front of you. Wiggle your toes out. And what we're going for is your knee directly above your ankle. So we don't want to have your knee way out in front of your toe. We don't want to put any undue strain on your knee if we don't have to. Toes are pointing perfectly forward, so make sure they're not turned in or turned out. Then we're going to start to lean into it. So it turns into a bigger lunge, and you can keep your hands right on your leg. You should feel a long stretch through your groin and your quad in your right leg. Hips are trying to face forward, so try to pull your left hip back, your right hip forward. Tuck your tail a little bit. And then if you'd like to, add the arms. Arms can go straight up. Eyes can stay facing forward or gaze up for a little bit more of a balance challenge. And we're going to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your hands down. We're going to move into a half splits, but don't get nervous. It's just here. You can stay perfectly straight up. Front leg is fairly straight. I tend to hyperextend my knee a little bit, so my knee kind of goes behind, so I definitely keep a little bend in my knee. And then if it feels good to you, and if your hamstring, this long, strong muscle in the back of this extended leg, likes it, walk your chest forward. If you'd like, you can put your hands on the ground, or if you have like water bottles or blocks or books or couch cushions, this also helps. To bring the floor to you. You can lean it down. Your goal, or what you're thinking about, is bringing your sternum, your breastbone here, towards your knee. So it's not like forehead to knee rounding, it's your breastbone towards your knee. Just stay here for for a moment and breathe. And if you're up here, great. You can still get the benefits, just a little tilt forward. Last breath. Wiggle out as gracefully or as ungracefully as you can and switch sides. Right leg steps forward, set it up first. Make sure this knee is over your ankle, toes facing straight ahead, and then try to square off your hips. Pull your right hip back, left hip forward, and then lean into it. Find this low crescent lunge. Hands can stay right on your legs. That's fine. You'll still feel this deep stretch through the left side leg here. But if you'd like a little bit more, arms can come up. Palms face each other. We lean in and breathe. Hands come down. Same thing, half splits, set it up first, flex your foot, square your hips, and then think sternum towards your knee. Hands can come down or not. Last one, last big breath. And slowly come out. Gonna move into the second part of our practice. We're gonna be standing. So make sure there's only one balance pose, so just make sure you're not near something that if you're gonna run into something, or if your balance is not your strong suit, you have something to hold on to, like this mantle here, or a chair, or anything like that. I'm gonna start in mountain pose, our first standing posture. I like to start with my feet hip distance apart, give myself a little bit wider base. My palms are gonna turn out, facing forward. I'm gonna roll my shoulders forward, up, and back, just to lengthen my spine a little bit. And pull everything up and in. I'm gonna tuck my tailbone slightly, and we breathe. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. Wiggle your feet together so your big toes touch. And I just want to give you an opportunity to see how this feels. This is another option to stand in mountain pose. You instantly get a little more wobbly, which is why I like the wide-footed stance here. But big toes touch, a little bit of space in between your heels, and we'll try 3 more breaths like that. So squeeze your glutes, squeeze your tailbone. Make sure you stay tall. 3 breaths. Close your eyes. You might immediately notice it's harder with the balance that you don't have that wide of a base, but open them if it's not comfortable. So good, so strong. Gonna move into some half sun salutations. I'll show it to you forward, but then I'm gonna show it on the side so you can see what my body looks like folding in half. We're gonna inhale up, exhale, fold. So this might mean hands are on your thighs, hands are on your shins, or maybe hands are on the ground, depending on what today looks like for you. Just go to the deepest point. You'll feel a stretch through your hamstrings. And then on the inhale, hands come to shins or thighs. You want to flatten your back. Eyes are still towards the floor, calling this half lift. Rebend on the exhale. And then we reverse that swan dive. We come all the way up. I'll show it to you from the side. It's a little bit better of an angle. So my feet, I'm going to choose to start with my toes together, heels apart. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Shins or on my thighs. Exhale, fold. Then inhale, reverse it. All the way up, and hands come back to heart center. Let's do 2 more together. Inhale brings you up. Exhale, fold, whatever feels comfortable for you today. Inhale, halfway lift, eyes to the ground, long straight line from the top of your head to your tail. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, hands heart center. 1 more just like that. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Final time, hands come to heart center. Excellent job. Heart rate might have built a little bit on that one. I'm gonna slow it back down. Left foot forward, right foot's gonna step back. We're gonna find a warrior 1 posture. So your front leg is facing forward, your back leg is at a 45-degree angle. So find a wide stance. You might have to adjust this as we go. Your front leg is bent, your back leg is straight. So start there. And if you need to wiggle a little bit wider or narrow it out a little bit, so you'll slowly come down as low as it feels comfortable for you. Maybe your knee is at 90 degrees, but once again, just like that half crescent, your knee is above your ankle. Back leg is straight. Now look at my hips. They're kind of facing the camera. I'm going to try to flip them this way, flip them forward. They won't totally square. Most human bodies don't do that, but they'll work towards being square. And then my shoulders are facing forward, and then I'm going to use my arms. My arms are straight, they're near my ears. If your shoulders are tight, bring them out into a Y and still bring them back. So if they're straight and this is as close as you can go, widen them so it opens up your chest and starts to strengthen your back. Breathe. We're going to open up same side. We're going to go into warrior 2. Front leg stays the same. Back foot turns out to the side. So the feet, if you're on a yoga mat, your feet will be parallel to the edge of the mat. This time my hips do face forward. I rebend through my front leg, and this time my arms come straight out, and then my gaze is towards my middle finger on my front hand. So it feels very different. Check in with your legs first. Make sure your front leg is bent, back leg is straight. Then check in with your side body. It's strong, it's pulled up. Arms are straight, they're not up here. Drop your shoulders. And then gaze towards your middle finger, and we breathe. Can you sink a little bit deeper into that front knee? Last one. So strong, straighten everything. We're just gonna flip. So rotate your new back leg, rotate your right leg. It's facing forward. We'll do warrior 1 first. Maybe you need to adjust your stance a little bit. I like to put my feet on railroad tracks for warrior 1, opposed to being on a balance beam. It gives me a little more hip rotation. Bend through the front leg. Now remember, this back leg is at a 45-degree angle, so make sure you turn it enough. And then straighten the back leg. Find the legs first. Hips fight to face forward. Shoulders are facing forward. Arms come up by your ears. And they're active. They're not just hanging out. Make them work. Breathe. Excellent. Open up to warrior 2. Open your arms. I always have to re-lengthen my stride a little bit on a warrior 2. Front leg stays the same, really bent. Back leg is straight. My foot angles a little bit differently. It's going to be at a 90-degree angle to my mat. Sorry, it's going to be parallel to my mat, not at a 90-degree angle to my mat. And find the legs first. Then find your shoulders over your hips. It's kind of easy to get like this. So shoulders over your hips, lean into it, and then arms come up, gaze goes towards that front middle finger, and make those arms active. Don't make them here. Get the benefits of having them straight. Breathe. So strong. Last one here. And relax it. Come out of it however you can. We're going to one standing balance and then we're on the mat. So wiggle those feet together. It's going to be a tree pose today, and I'll show it to you facing forward first. I'm going to plant my right foot down. My left foot comes up just on my toe. So it's kind of a kickstand. And my hands can come to heart center, or for a little bit more of a challenge, arms come up. Shoulders relax away from your ears. Tree pose. If that feels okay and you want to try a balance, foot is on your calf. And if you're like, oh, this isn't so bad, foot can come up to your inner thigh, just not on your knee. And it would be here. Pressing my hips forward, pressing my foot into my thigh into my foot. So wherever you are, find it and breathe. This is where a mantle comes in handy, or a chair comes in handy. You need a little bit of assistance. Start it there, and then maybe take one hand off. Maybe that's not right for you, put it back on. And breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Let it go. Other side. Plant your left foot. Right foot goes into a kickstand. Start here. Hands to heart center. Immediately, your whole body starts to fire to keep you from falling. If that's not terrifying, bring your foot up to your ankle or to your calf and stay here, or raise your arms. Press your foot into your calf into your foot. Your knee is out to the side, it's not straight ahead. And then if you try it on the other side, try it on this one. But every day is different, every side is different. And if you need a prop, grab a prop. If you're doing this with a friend, maybe hold a friend. You got this. We'll breathe wherever you are for 3. For 2, all these wobbles just mean you're getting stronger. And 1. Relax it. Grab a sip of water if you have it. We're coming down for the mat for our last part of our series. And the first posture we're going to go to is a downward facing dog, which if you've never done a downward facing dog before, this might not feel great. So this is one of those times that you just sit, wait till we do the next posture. But I'll encourage you to try it. Hands are going to be like they were in our all fours position. I'm going to turn my hands out a little bit, just because my shoulders tend to be a little bit tight. I'm going to start almost in this all fours position. I'm going to tuck my toes under, and I'm going to send my hips towards the sky into an upside down letter V with my body. Now notice my heels are not on the mat. They don't need to be, but I can play with it. Maybe I pedal out my feet. This always feels good in my first downward facing dog of the day. Feet are going to be about hip distance apart. And press your chest back towards your legs. Maybe your heels work towards the floor. Maybe not, maybe they're still up. And then if your hamstrings don't like this, bend your knees. Takes the pressure out of them. If you're in it, try to stay in it for 3 big breaths. Maybe shake your head yes, shake your head no. And then slowly come out. We'll come back to this tabletop. And then knees come wide, feet come together to child's pose. So your hips go towards your heels, your head goes towards the mat. But if that's not accessible, which is not for a lot of people, especially when you're starting out, stack your hands, stack your fists, bring the floor to you, and rest your forehead on your fists. Maybe you need both. Maybe you need full arms up. Trying to rest your head. The goal is to try to rest the back of your neck. So wherever you are, try to let go of the tension in the back of your neck. With your breaths, maybe you can sink a little bit deeper. Maybe it's only one fist that's needed. Maybe you walk your hands out and try to meet your forehead to the floor. Wherever you are, slowly come out. We're going to find one more twist before we end. Roll onto your back. We're going to just hug our knees into our chest. Relax your upper body. No need to be up here. Relax it. And then with your knees together, drop them to the right. Arm reaches towards the left. Straight out if you have space, or cactus it if you don't. Trying to keep your left shoulder on the floor. And now lengthen your breath. Switch it over, other side. Slowly unwind it. Bring it back to center first. Give your knees a little squeeze, and then drop your knees to the left. Arm reaches to the right. If you have space, reach it all the way out. If not, cactus it. And breathe. Bring it back to center. This time you are going to lift your head up. You're going to give yourself a little squeeze. Bring yourself into a tiny ball. And then release everything down to the ground for our final posture, Shavasana. Final resting pose. Palms face the sky. Feet can turn out, whatever's comfortable. Let go of the control of the breath. And just rest. This is the part of practice where your body absorbs all the benefits. The celebration that you showed up today and you did this yoga practice. Begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, maybe circle your ankles and your wrists. And then big inhale brings you along for a big, like just you're waking up in the morning stretch. Whatever feels good. Then roll onto one side, whatever one feels comfortable to you. And rest here for a minute with your head on your arm. If it's comfortable, keep your eyes closed as you press up to a seat. We'll end the same way we started, in this comfortable seat, with our long, strong spine, hopefully a little bit clearer of a mind and a better outlook on the day. We'll take one final inhale together. Inhale up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. And then thumbs come to the space between your eyebrows, known as your third eye, your sight of intuition. The light in me bows and honors the light in each and every one of you. We all say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. Go have a great day.